You guys all
Uh,
survived.
yeah.
Yeah.
So far.
So far.
I mean, it's basically the end of the run, and now like rocks fall everywhere.
And Rod's falling what?
I mean,
Rocks fall.
Head over heels in love with Dante.
Ah, yes.
Um,
both of
Dodge,
those I
I don't know if
like.
that's worth mentioning, but I was pretty impressed with Dante's professionalism and leadership in this one.
I was pretty impressed with Jet's uh,
Not
like
dying.
insisting on the role play. I mean,
Funny how
I
that
forgot it.
works.
Well, it's just
Yeah,
so much more fun when you get out of your head and into the game. All the things that we were talking about, the characters could have talked about, and it moves things forward.
Yeah.
you are absolutely right.
It's funny how that works sometimes, right? Um,
I'm pretty knotted up over that code of honor thing.
yeah. Well, let's handle that all real quick. So you guys will get paid. I don't remember how much it was. I said I was going to pay you.
Can Sue negotiate for a bonus for delivering unto them their infiltrator
Oh,
and the fish?
Yeah, I think one would be warranted. Honestly, we went above and beyond with this.
You sure did. Um, that'll that's something that's gonna. So this was kind of like a setup to another thing because the second part is going to be like he wanted information. And then the second part is going to be he wanted you guys. He was going to want you guys to sabotage the deal. Um, you guys seem to have done that automatically. Um, so what was the actual pay that I offered you guys to start?
I'd have to go back and look at the stream. It was relatively modest because it was just information gathering, but he said he would give us a bonus if we went above
Yeah,
and beyond.
because like the plan was like go find me information, come back to me with information, depending upon what information you guys found. Because you honestly you could have made stuff up. Larry's not that competent. Um, so whatever information you found him was going to depend upon what the next job could be. But since you guys, in a roundabout way, were like, oh, we'll just kidnap the guy making the deal. Um, that'll just kind of push you right into that. Um,
we are professionals.
I don't know if I would call it that. Um, so we can find out uh, how many dollars was offered. If only somebody had written this down. Um,
You just asked in our Discord chat.
yep, just as like
People.
a thing
A
to
note.
note for later. So you guys will get that. Depending upon what that initial offer is, I will come up with a number in my head for the basically doing the second job for automatically. Um,
Mm-hmm.
He
everybody,
respects our initiative.
yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, I was gonna ask you guys to take care of this, but I'm sure some of the time that he spent on the phone call was him spinning it as to, oh yeah, look how great my guys were. I told them to go get information. They came back with the dude on a plate.
Yeah,
You know,
we made him look good, didn't we?
I mean, he is moderately incompetent, and you guys at least look good, and he looks good by association because he's like telling his higher ups that, hey, these are my guys. Look what my guys did for us. My guys are great, right? I'm great for
Yeah.
having these guys.
I'm
Um,
assuming that's
Uh,
something he has a little bit of trouble with, looking good to them.
so, does this make his like something go up
this
as a contact?
it would if you guys had attributes for him. It would totally increase his connection, his
Well,
loyalty.
you told me to that we can like add him as a 1-1.
Yeah, I told him to put him as a 1-1 so that you remember looking at your sheet for the list of people you can
Ah,
call. Just
okay.
like you guys probably added the
Voodoo lady.
voodoo lady as a 1-1 just to remind you that she exists and is somebody that you can
I
you
don't
can.
have her.
That's actually a
So I
very
can.
good idea.
Yeah, like
Okay. And she would be a what? A talismonger?
Yeah,
Talishmonger.
Talismonger, Creepy Magic Lady,
Yeah.
I
Body
just wrote
Chopper.
Voodoo Lady.
What's her name?
You guys, I don't think I ever actually gave her an
Nope.
actual name. We just called her
Voodoo
like
Lady.
Madame Voodoo or Miss Cleo or
Yeah, Miss Cleo works.
sure.
Uh, and who else? Who else do we have as a
You
1/1?
guys got
Frank and Miranda.
no Frank and Miranda have
Those
are
are
they're 4.
those are 4/1.
Yeah, and you guys picked
Oh,
up Big Bob.
Big Bob,
Yeah,
He's a 3/1.
the car salesman,
yeah,
right? No.
Big Bob. Which Dante, did you ever go back and figure out all the wonderful things you're gonna get on your car, your motorcycle?
Uh, I would like to say yes, but I've just been a fat lazy fuck.
That's fine. Um, so you guys have a couple of contacts now, and a couple of people that you can call on. But due to this run, Larry will be a little bit more useful to you in the future. Um, I kind of want to. I'll think about like actual attributes and giving him actual attributes to you guys, rather than just leaving him as like a plot device. Um,
Right now, I'm just worried about Bactine and ice packs.
yeah. The good news is you have plenty of time to heal off your gratuitous amounts of physical damage you took. So that's fun. Um, Everybody except for Sue will get 8 karma. Sue will get 5.
Mm, 8 karma.
Yep. Let me make a note on the board to get back to you about Larry C/L. Um, Paying forward on follow-up job. All right, I'll put that stuff up in the top. I kind of don't want to delete your wonderful pizza.
You can just save it for future use, or I'll be cheeky and keep doing funny things with it.
I'm all right with it.
I like that last one because it gives us more things, more pretty to look at.
Hmm?
That didn't. Trying to make this into a thing. No, I was trying to group it, but I've decided that I'm not going to fight with it.
You don't fight with the pizza.
No. If the pizza would lose, I would devour it. So then I guess I have are there any questions, comments, concerns, all of that good post-run stuff that you guys like to that we're here to talk about?
Hmm. So, like, is this? I mean, aside from us knowing the rules any better, and not asking about stuff constantly, and going faster for stuff, is there any other way we can make combat faster, or is it just as fast as it gets?
So knowing what you guys are going to do before it becomes your turn,
Mm-hmm.
big way of doing it. And having your dice pools ready for the thing that you are going to do instead of stopping and looking up your drones for 10 minutes, it is really all there
Mm-hmm.
is that you can do to make it faster.
Okay, so it would shave off how much? I don't know, like
Look at
maybe like
look at
half
how
an
fast
hour.
my turns were going for
Mm-hmm.
the guys that I was shooting, because it was really simple. Like the 2 goons were like, "Oh crap, we are being suppressed, and the only thing that we can see is the thing that is suppressing us. Let us shoot back at it."
Mm-hmm.
And then when you unsuppress them and everybody had kind of pulled away towards the docks, they're like, "I'm going to follow the where the combat is and keep shooting."
Mm-hmm.
Like
So, like, the big thing is knowing what you're good at, or what you can possibly do.
knowing what you're going to do and knowing how many things you have for that. Because like the goons, they were 7 dice for whatever they did. I was like, all right, I'm gonna shoot you, and Dan, the hero goon, was taking aim, so he got an extra dice for shooting because I don't know, maybe he had a little bit of firearms training, so he would actually like both hands on the pistol and take shots at things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, combat
So
always goes kind of slow.
okay, so I'd say it's like it would shave off like maybe an hour, but that would be still like 4 hours of combat, right?
It it depends upon how things go. Like this was a shitty situation as far as combat because you were down one of your people and
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of spread out. But you guys did not have to engage in combat here.
Okay,
Like, there was
fair enough.
tons of other things you could have done.
Like what?
You guys could have attempted to follow them to wherever they were going to go, and you had a couple of different ways to do that. You guys could have attempted to negotiate and appeal to Vinny's uh, inflated sense of self-worth, of how great he is, and just been like, "Look, we done screwed up. Let's negotiate to get our man back, and then we'll just kind of go our separate ways." It could have worked.
Uh,
You guys could have followed them back to wherever they were going. They were almost assuredly going to the same kind of place you were going. You know, unnamed warehouse to ask some very important questions. Because during the little Jet and I got together to play out a little bit more of the situation on the boat, and there were some dice rolls that I made. One of them was like, "Wait a minute, I don't know this guy," and then I made like a knowledge skill roll for Vinny to try and put things together in his head, and he rolled really well on that to be like, all right, something is going on here. I'm going to find out what's going on because I'm a big deal. So it is at that point he decided to not brutally murder Jet and throw him into the ocean. That's when he went through his pockets, took out his comm link, removed the battery, threw his guns in the ocean. He actually used Jet's stim patches to wake his buddy up, which is why when you guys engaged them, they had full tracks again. And then stripped him naked, and well, down to his underoos because he's not a smart man, but he's not an idiot. So it's like, all right, let me disable his communication so he can't make any phone calls, and I'm gonna strip him out of his armor in case he wakes up early and we're gonna have to have fisticuffs again. Um, and
And
then
it's worth Sorry, go ahead.
and then like every other thought process, knowledge, skill roll that I had him make towards noticing that the boat was hacked or anything else that he was doing, he bombed. He got like one hit, so he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna pay attention to the fact that like what's going on with my car or my boat, um, or any of that kind of stuff." So like he made the one roll that he needed to make to roll well in Jet's favor, and then bombed every other roll that he needed. When Hex botched the hacking roll, I rolled another 7 dice roll, and he got 4 hits on it. And that was the point where he was like, okay, something is totally up. I'm going to go to this place that my boat is trying to go to, but I'm going to call some guys. And it's at that point I asked for like a group edge check from you guys to determine if they were going to beat you there or if they were going to come up after you guys got there. Because he just called some guys that left from the dock, which is why there's this big van and this sedan here. He just got some mafia goons. That's why everybody at the dock was packing up their stuff when you guys were spying on it and still looking at it. They just happened to have left the dock like 2 or 3 minutes before you guys did, so they got to the spot and set up shop.
okay.
Yeah, and Bamce and I did discuss how that torture scene would have gone, and I was uh, I was already figuring out character concepts because I knew exactly how Jet would respond, and it would probably get him shot in the head.
Yeah, no, if you guys like, um, there was a big 6-part clock that I put up there, and if that clock had gotten filled, Vinny would have killed Jet.
And I would have been totally okay with it because it kind of would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Like he was going to go to a warehouse to ask him some questions, and then if you guys just kind of sat around and waited outside the warehouse for an extended period of time, I would have kept filling it in, and when it got full, that'd have been the end of it.
Yeah, because Jet would have run his mouth and maybe said some things that he couldn't take back.
Yep.
Uh, I don't know. I was really dead set on getting Jet back alive.
And you
I'm
did.
really glad we managed to do that. I
Yeah.
know that maybe you were ready to roll your next character, but
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was
I
important for me
wasn't.
to get him back.
I wasn't hoping to kill off Jet, but I knew that it would have made a better story. It would have made a good story, rather,
Yeah,
if he died. So it would have been worth it if he did. I would have been okay with it.
yeah. I would have been pretty crushed, I think.
And that would
I
have
don't know.
made future sessions way more interesting. Add that drama into the mix.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already pretty fucked up in the head from some stuff that went down there. I don't know that Sue's ready for losing a teammate quite this early.
Is that everything?
It's up to you guys.
Oh.
I'm pulling back the curtain on you.
We went back and saw that it was 25,000 total million for the information gathering.
Okay. So that was 5,000 apiece.
Yeah.
We can double that because you guys didn't
Okay.
actually have to like do anything super crazy. Um, like you got him in the process, so they'll go ahead and pay you. Like the full on extra job would have probably paid out more, but now that's been taken care of.
Uh,
And instead you get, you know, favors from Larry and that kind of stuff.
I suspect that I know this, but what was it, the 3-point differential?
The 3 guys that got murdered in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would definitely know about at least one of them.
Yeah, no. There was no even remote effort made to stop Dante from murdering those people. Uh, there was a gunfight going on. I mean, we faded to black on what happened to the goons, but Dante was into Stick and Shock at that time, so
Right.
that wasn't a murder part. And
Yeah, I know. I figured by the time I hit the van, I figured I was grieving that.
yeah, no, they were straight up dead at that point. So I'm not gonna ding you for Vinny though because you didn't know about that. But
Vinny?
oh yeah, no. Remember that conversation that Dante had where he said that this could be a problem, and Vinny and Larry asked if he wanted him to take care of it for you after he was done. He said, "Yeah,
I don't
please."
remember that. No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It was on a phone conversation, so it could have very easily been just brain DNI texting, and nothing vocal said, so you wouldn't know about it.
Right.
And nobody speaks Japanese to ask those Japanese fellows what was going on.
Um. Oh no, we. Heck speaks Japanese. She wasn't here.
Oh yeah, she totally does.
so, like a quick question about this whole thought process of yours. That sounded like halfway elaborate about thinking about first like talking to Jet about what he will do, then like thinking about the guy calling the docs and people leaving, and then getting to the place before we do, and like setting up the whole situation. Uh, is it your normal process, or do you sometimes just wing it?
So it was all winged. Um, the talking to Jet was because it was like the end of a session. He asked about Burning Edge. It's like, okay, let's sit down and have a conversation outside of the moment. So it's not like, okay, you have some time to think about it, that kind of thing. Um, so it was just to give an opportunity to cool off, and then for us to go back and look at things because Jet mentioned that there was something he was miscalculating incorrectly. Um, one of the things he was recording wrong was that he was taking the damage as physical, not as stun, due to the way that his armor booked out. It it didn't matter because if I'm knocking you unconscious from physical on a huge body orc, I'm knocking you unconscious from stun anyway. Um, and then I have the recording for that up on the channel, which I will turn from private to public, so you guys can go back and watch it as we talk about some of the stuff. He mentioned wanting to spend his last point of edge to set off a flashbang grenade. And it's like, all right, well, you can do that because technically that last round of combat, he made a full defense maneuver to try and get away from it, and Vinny intercepted him. So technically, he still has his two simples or a complex he could have done before trying to roll out of the way. So we let him go back and do those actions rather than, which I believe was where he pulled out the flashbang to set it off. And it's like, you're going to end up soaking the flashbang because that's how flashbangs work. And you're still going to be unconscious from when he stomps on you, but we'll see where the rest of that goes. Um, and then from there, like he made the roll on the second hacking attempt to kind of realize what was going on. Um, so I just spawned guys at the place you were going. I did the edge test um, to find out whether or not they were going to be there before or after you guys. I mean, it doesn't really matter where they came from. You know, he he's got guys under him that he can get a hold of pretty quickly, and you guys weren't like it was a decent clip away. And if he couldn't get guys, he wasn't going to go right there because he got 4 hits on this thing. He's not walk into a trap idiot.
Mm.
So if that was the case, those 4 hits could have easily been, oh, the boat's driving itself to somewhere I don't want it to go. Let me turn off the wireless, and then I'll drive it to where I want it to go. And you guys had been sitting at that dock waiting for a boat that's never coming. So like the fact that they were there from the docks just became a thing that came up after the fact. Like they had already existed and spawned into existence no matter what. Like
Mm.
the fact that the docks thing just made better narrative sense than them just showing up out of somewhere else. And that was something that came to me. It's like, oh no, this makes total sense that he'd be able to get guys this quickly because the place is crawling with guys.
Then he's
Okay.
got guys out the yazoo.
Yeah, these guys. Um, and then one of them was a mage because somebody mentioned he only has a pistol.
So he
Uh,
became a mage.
He became a mage so that I could introduce more magical bullshit going on to kind of, we had a small fight, physical combat thing with Jet, so we got to see a little bit of how that works. Um, there was other small physical things. Let's get a little magic involved. You know, throw a lightning bolt here, summon a spirit there. See what you guys do.
Mm. Well, fortunately, it didn't do much, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the damnedest thing when you murder the mage as to what happens with the spirit. But he'd have been able to
Well,
supply a little bit of counterspelling dice, and
wasn't it a
not really
possibility that
something
the
I
spirit
need.
goes haywire and like starts attacking stuff?
yeah, that's why I had him roll for it.
Hmm. Okay.
I believe I asked Dante to roll six dice when that happened.
Yeah,
Is there a
sounds right.
reason? Is there a reason you ask players to do that, just so that you wouldn't bear the responsibility of having super obnoxiously huge roles?
Yeah, basically. It was just like, oh, here, I'll offload this to somebody else to roll.
Okay.
And we should kind of, have a hand in our own fate, right?
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, I'm thinking about stuff, but I don't think I have questions right now. Oh,
Yeah, that's all I've got at the moment.
Sure.
I'm gonna do some now. This is like between jobs time, right?
Yeah.
Or are we going to next job, or are we going to Dante's job?
That's coming up to you guys. I have a couple of days of downtime before the next thing that I have in mind happening.
Mm-hmm. Because so like a couple of days of us possibly getting stuff, because I wanted to try to get my autosofts, and looking how buying stuff works, possibly through Dante or Sue.
Yeah,
But just buying some stuff.
we can we can see what happens.
Okay. So where are we going? When are we getting the Dante's adventure? Like right after this one or another one?
I'll talk to Dante. I'll see what he wants to do, and then
Okay.
we'll go from there. Because I have a pseudo immediate follow up to this.
We
Mm-hmm.
can do your follow up. Mine's pretty much ready, but it doesn't directly tie into what's immediately happening. So
Sure,
I think probably be more prudent to see the immediate follow up.
you got it.
Yeah, I'm also like interested in what's going on. Plus, like, are we getting to how we are getting captured before Dante's adventure or after Dante's adventure?
That'll happen after because I have like an idea for a thing that is going to be uh, to see whether or not you guys want to do and how that'll go, and then dependent upon that, we'll see what happens. Uh,
Okay.
um, keep in mind Texas Red and Gordo Crunch are still around if that is the thing that you guys want to
Well, we did
bench.
all right in this fight. I'm sure we can manage them now. It went a lot smoother than I thought. Like I'll suppress them. Dante will shoot them. It's gonna be alright.
I'm sure it's gonna be all right.
Sure.
Completely share.
Mm-hmm. Well, if there's
Yeah,
nothing
that
else you
that's
guys wanted to know, I'll shut it down and talk to you guys next week.
Sounds good.
Yep.
thanks
All right.
for knowing
Thanks,
all the
guys.
roles.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
Later.